Training camp has started. We're going to go through all the storylines tonight on JetCast. JetCast Nation, welcome to our latest episode. As always, I'm Pat, that's Ray. What is going on, my man? I know we haven't spoken in a while. Training camp just started, and we have a lot to talk about. First off, for me, Garrett Wilson tweaked his ankle. So I'm always going to start off with the negative. I'm such a pessimistic fan.
Yeah, well, it looks like he's going to be fine. That's all I care about. I seen the play. We actually gave away tickets on our Twitter space a couple days ago. One of our guys that we gave the tickets away, that's one of his videos, I guess, that is going viral about.
Oh, that's right. He posted the play, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it looks like he's going to be fine. It's just precautionary. I think everybody held their breath. I can only imagine what Miami fans are going through right now. It looks like Ramsey might be out more than half the season. Potentially.
He had a meniscus tear, right? The same. That's not the same what Zach had. Zach had a meniscus tear and a bone.
Yeah, well,
bruise, right?
At first they didn't think. I believe how I read it was, and we were talking about it on Twitter today. It was potentially a partial tear, but now it's like fully done. So he's going to be out a long time. So them bringing him in, I'm assuming Miami's got to be scouring the block and trade potentials, because look at the wide receivers that are in this division. You got Garrett Wilson here. You got Stefon Diggs up in Buffalo, who you got to worry about. And I'm sure they thought he was going to be their number one shutdown corner. And, they're going to be without him for some time. And who knows when you get a guy back mid to late season if he's going to be the same player not having that camp. So there's a lot of stories going around the NFL. There's guys getting hurt left and right. Luckily, knock on wood, we have been pretty fortunate. But yeah, there's a ton of stories going on in training camp. Number one, Aaron Rodgers. Seems like he could do no wrong right now.
Right. He can do no wrong. Every time the Jets post a new video on Twitter, I'm all over it. And now with Hard Knocks, we're gonna have a ton of content to go over and react to and review. We have some shots of the Hard Knocks team at camp from the fans that have been going to training camp. So yeah. I'm excited for it. There's nothing but good vibes right now. We got Dalvin Cook meeting with the team this weekend, right? He flew in, and I'm a little concerned because I feel like he's losing. I know we keep using the term leverage, right? Like back when Aaron Rodgers was coming, not coming, and we talk about leverage with the Packers.
Wore it out a little bit.
Right, but the fact is that he's going on all these interviews, and he is talking glowingly about the Jets, and clearly he wants to be on the Jets. He talks about his main draw was Aaron Rodgers, and I feel like his agent must not be happy with him saying all these things. What do you think?
I think he's going to go with whoever pays him the most money. You got a little bit over 10% income tax with Florida, so the Jets are going to have to pay a little extra if they want to get him. They cleared a lot of space. This new Aaron Rodgers contract, gives the Jets about $15 million plus. So if they want him, at the end of the day, they can get him. It's whether or not he's going to accept a one-year contract. Him leaving the Vikings, he thought he was going to have $35 million coming to him, and that's just not the point. So he's going to try to make it up somewhere. I think at the end of the day, he goes with whoever pays him the most money. He'll say the right thing. He wants to be here. He wants to be in New England. He likes Miami. That's where he's from. At the end of the day, whoever pays him the most, that's where he's going. Because he knows coming here, he's absolutely RB2. Regardless if Breece Hall starts week 1 or week 2, at the end of the day, he's going to be RB2 here. So I don't think like he's saying, I want to be in New York because I want to start, I want to win, I want to yada yada. It's whoever's going to pay him the most money.
So Dalvin gave up the same amount of money, $30+ million, that Aaron Rodgers just left on the table to re-sign with us. I cannot believe that we're living in a world where our quarterback is Aaron Rodgers and he took less money in a reworked contract to be on our team. It's clear that he wants to be here to win, and he wants the team to have the flexibility to bring the players in to help him win. I know we've had Paul Riley on a lot of our spaces and on this podcast, and he said multiple times he did not expect him to take a penny less than what his original contract was. And we were all wrong. I thought that too. We were all wrong. I could not believe that he actually reworked his contract in such a way that gave the team the flexibility that we need.
Yeah, well, and it also speaks volumes. Like, imagine going into that locker room saying that I just took less money because I'm here to win. Maybe it sends a message to his teammates. We've seen that leaked One Jets Drive video earlier today where Quinn and Williams and him are discussing something on the sideline. Supposedly, Lincoln Tomlinson, he was kind of lined up the wrong way, and Quinn
he
Williams
overset.
Yes,
he overset for a pull.
Yes, and Quinn Williams noticed it and shot the gap, and he goes, I'll talk to him after practice. And you see Rodgers say, I'm going to talk to him now. Like, that's,
right.
But it's amazing. Like, when's the last time we can say, like, Quinn Williams is the top 10 defender in this league? Like, there's no doubt about it. Probably higher than that. Arguably the third best defensive tackle in the NFL. So having him there on one side and Aaron Rodgers on the other side, it's just going to show you that veteran to veteran. I don't think Quinn Williams last year would have felt comfortable going up to Zach Wilson and telling him, hey, your linemen aren't setting up right. Because I'm sure as the quarterback and as experienced as Aaron Rodgers is, he almost takes that personally. Because he is, at the end of the day, he sees where the linemen are lined up. Even though the center kind of sets where guys are supposed to be positioned, at the end of the day, he's the one that's supposed to, set everything up. So I'm sure he took that personally.
Well, it goes to the nuances of the game itself and how much defensive linemen in particular, are looking at how guys are set up and how that changes based on the play and how much they can actually read off of, if a guy has his weight back, if a guy has his weight forward in his stance. It really goes to the knowledge, I think, that Quinnen has of the game. So... And we also had a Hard Knocks video of Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner going at it.
They're baiting us. Nobody wanted Hard Knocks, but everybody's
the two of them, and I'll quote the video. The two of them are going to make each other great. They really, really are. You have the defensive and the offensive rookie of the year practicing against each other every day in practice. It doesn't get much better than that. And you have a Hall of Fame quarterback throwing the ball. I mean, I can't wait to get to camp. I'm going to get there probably the week of August 5th or 6th. I'm not sure which day yet. I cannot wait to sit there in the stands and watch these two go at it.
Nope, same here. And I'll tell you this, it's like you don't realize how fast the game is until you saw that shot on Hard Knocks. Like, the fact that you're watching Garrett Wilson, who I almost think gets slighted a little bit. Like, he saw when Madden came out, he's an 84 rating, and Sauce is way higher because everybody thinks Sauce is such a better player. But I never realized how quick Garrett Wilson is. His hit placement is ridiculous. You saw it on
that touchdown pass in Week 2 against the Browns. It was a fade. It was a fade that Flacco threw him. And he just had the defensive back just all twisted up just from the get-go. It was a great play. You guys could look it up on YouTube. It was his first. I think it was his first touchdown. And yeah, he is insanely quick.
Yeah, and it's amazing how young we are, and it speaks also to when we look at the defensive line. When it's one thing I wanted to address in this video. You have guys like Carl Lawson and JFM who are the veterans. I really, truly think from watching a lot of video at camp, from talking to people that are there, Will McDonald is standing out. He was going one-on-ones with Mekhi Becton, and Mekhi Becton couldn't hold his jockstrap. That's how fast he was off the edge. Now, I wouldn't put too much
stock into that.
Well, I'll tell you this. The reason why I put stock into it is because he's going to be on an island. Whether it's with the right tackle or the left tackle. They're not going to be asking him to stop the run. So I think in third down, long and distance, you're probably going to see Bryce Huff lined up over the right tackle like they did so much last year, and McDonald lined up over the left tackle. And if they get any type of interior pass rush, odds are one of those two outside pass rushers is going to beat the guy that's in front of him. And McDonald, a lot of people are saying, well, he looks slender, but he's surprisingly strong for his size and his arm length. That's one thing that has stood out to fans that are at camp that keep talking about him. His arm length is ridiculous. If he gets slightly around his guy, he's able to reach over and go for the ball in the quarterback's hand. And that's something we saw so much in college, was tackles struggled with that.
Right. I was more going with the fact that Becton really hasn't played in 2 years. So he probably is really having to get his feet wet. He has had to take a few breaks because his knee has been, he's had 2 surgeries on the same knee. So just going up against Becton, I don't take too much stock into that, because I think Becton is pretty raw right now.
Could be.
Yeah, I just, he did have to take a break in Twitter. The Twitter trolls were killing him. But, it is what it is. You have a guy that hasn't played in 2 years and has had 2 surgeries on one knee. Like, give him a break.
All of Twitter talking about PD Italy.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel bad for PD. PD loves Becton, but we all do. We all want the best for him, because at the end of the day, if he becomes a franchise left tackle this year and plays at that level, A, you can franchise tag him after this year, and B, it solves a giant issue, because we thought coming into this year we were going to have a hole at the tackle position. Brown is old. Everybody thinks, Brown's going to be here a year or two. Odds are this is Brown's last year. And you don't want to go into, if we don't win the Super Bowl this year, next year we're going to try to win the Super Bowl again. And you don't want to be going into trying to win a Super Bowl with a rookie left tackle. And
not only
remember,
that, if we go deep, we're going to have a late draft pick. We're not going to have a pick of the litter. Oh, it's true. We don't even have a first round pick anyway. So we're going to be late in the second.
Yeah, our first pick's going to be in the 50s.
Yep.
So odds are, you need Mekhi Becton to work out. Now, if you've had a great season, am I going to pay him? No. Am I going to franchise tag him? Most likely, because I got to see it back-to-back years. But the guy is, without a doubt, from all accounts and all photographs, all video that we're seeing, he's definitely lost weight. He's locked in. And I expect him to have soreness here or there. I think it's unfair to expect a guy who's been training his ass off, clearly, to lose weight, to come into camp and now all of a sudden 250 and 300-pound men he's going up to battle against and not be sore. But that's what camp's for. You ice it, you get back together, you have rest days and such. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I just want to see him start to string together some solid practices, and we'll find out really shortly.
Yep. So other camp standouts, Brownlee has been playing fantastic. McCole Hardman has had some great flashes. Greg the Leg can't miss. So all in all, I mean, there's nothing
Jeremy
really
Rucker's
to complain
having
about.
a very solid camp.
I haven't heard much about Rucker, but yeah, where are you seeing that?
I'm hearing that they may consider him for that fullback type role. I know they got Bowden in there, but it's like, if you could have your third tight end take over that role, especially with the offensive line, I could see us trying to keep an extra tackle on this team, only because we saw what happened last year. God forbid Mitchell gets another blood clot. Brown's coming off shoulder surgery. Becton's coming off knee surgery. Vera-Tucker had the elbow surgery. Everybody's been injured on this offensive line. And from what I'm hearing right now, McGovern's taking first-team snaps, not Tittman. So that could change as camp goes on, but it looks like as of right now, McGovern might be starting at center. But obviously there's plenty of time for that to change. But with all those injuries last year, I'm leaning toward maybe keeping a guy like Billy Turner on this roster, somebody who could play the swing tackle position as a backup to the backup, because I don't want to be looking on the waiver wire week 3 trying to protect Aaron Rodgers. I don't want to lose perspective. Yes, is Aaron Rodgers a mobile quarterback? Yeah, but he's also 39 years old, and we don't want to have a banged-up offensive line. I want to have veterans back there. I don't want to be pulling guys off the scrap heap and off the street to try to protect our now franchise quarterback as we're trying to win a Super Bowl.
Now with the Aaron Rodgers reworked contract and the possibility of Dalvin Cook coming in, what do you think the odds are that they get Quan signed?
I only think Kawan's going to cost like $1 million. You
Yeah.
know what it is? I keep saying the same thing. Oh, bring Kawan in, but from the reporters that we talk to, it doesn't appear right now that the Jets are sold on bringing him back at all. Like, there's not even talk about it. I'm not saying it won't happen, but
And the more
they
Sherwood
really.
plays, well, which sounds like he's having a great camp, the less likely
Mhm.
they are to bring him
Right,
back.
they said mentally he is there. Like, it is all there. Like, he's put it together. He's got this defense down, the communications down. But the reason why I would bring Kawan in, and this is like the catch 22, I'd want to bring Kawan in because if one of our linebackers goes down, we are very thin at that position. But then
Hmm.
again, you need your fourth linebacker to be able to play special teams. And is Kawan Alexander going to be flying up and down the field playing special teams on the punt return, on the kick return, vice versa, whatever? I don't know at this point in his career with some of the injuries he's had in his past. So I think he's the kind of guy that's waiting for an injury in camp, which we all know is going to happen at a couple teams. Happens every year, and he's going to try to capitalize on that. I also hear that he's looking for a specific number to get to in order to sign, and I guess no team's offering it right now. But that's not saying in the future, with an injury or two, he could get that number. And that's why Cook's not signed. Cook could say he wants to be a Jet or he wants to be a Dolphin, all he wants.
But
He's got a
he still
certain
wants his
number.
money, right?
Yeah, he's got a certain number in his head until somebody reaches that number, and he's banking on potentially, a big injury too for one of these teams. Let's face it, when the Buffalo Bills running back went down this past week, everybody's linking him now to Buffalo. I don't know if
Right.
Buffalo has the necessary cap to get him. I got to go over those numbers, but
They don't.
anybody who loses a running back in the NFL right now, you're going to hear, oh, Dalvin Cook's possibility right away.
Right. All right. So the next time we talk, the next episode that we have, we're going to be basically breaking down the first preseason game because they play next week. I am excited to watch the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I have my Klecko jersey on. I'll be wearing it all week, waiting for that induction ceremony. But as far as the preseason goes, I just get through it without injuries. That's all I care about.
That's it.
I don't want to see. Don't even dress Aaron Rodgers. Seriously,
No,
let him.
he's not going to play.
No, put him in a
I'm looking
polo.
I'm
Let
looking
him
to
sit
see
up
Izzy.
sit up in a booth, and just let him watch. He does not need to play a single down. And yes, I do. I'm excited to see a couple guys, Izzy especially.
Yeah, Izzy, Jermaine Johnson, you want to see that step forward. He's going to get snaps. I'm sure Will McDonald's going to get snaps. I don't think Huff's going to get a ton of snaps, but we'll see possibly Tippmann in there for a long period of time. So we're going to
Tippmann,
have
another
our
guy
fair
I'm not
share of
hearing
young
much
guys.
about.
Nah, he's getting second team snaps right now. I mean,
Yeah.
we spoke about it in some of our offseason videos. I could see him potentially not starting only because you probably want a guy who's got experience setting NFL protections under center, unless they're ridiculously smart, like Linderbaum was a couple years ago coming out. And I also want to say one other thing to anybody who's watching this video. We have a couple of awesome guests lined up for this Wednesday on our live Twitter space. If you want to come check that out, myself and Paul Riley host Twitter spaces at 7 p.m. live every Wednesday. We have different guests. You can come in and talk to them. We had Peter Schwartz at WFAN in last week. Very knowledgeable Jets fan. He's part of the family now. He comes on so much. But we have a couple of guests. One of our guests works as a host on ESPN Radio who's coming up. We just confirmed him earlier today. And another one of them is one of our famous Jets YouTubers that you all know very well. So come on in. Even if you're just going to listen, you don't have to speak your first time. You could just listen. I'll be sure to have the link post in the description of this video.
All right. So thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Remember, our next episode we'll be breaking down the first preseason game. If you're new here,
Got some football.
Finally. So, guys, again, if you're new here, please give us a subscribe. We're going to keep you up to date on everything going on with the team. SeatGeek. This episode is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use code JetCast at checkout. Get $20 off your first purchase. Ray, anything before we cut out?
Stay safe, everybody. No injuries, and
No
go
injuries.
kick some ass in Cleveland.
No injuries. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Go Jets.